And now it's time for news from around the world. And meanwhile in. Meanwhile, in Vatican City, the Pope slapped a woman. You don't expect to say that ever, but here's the video, let's see. Okay, so it wasn't across the face or anything, but the Pope purposefully striking anyone, it seems weird, right? Like, I'm not naive. I'm not saying that like religious people don't do horrific, terrible things, or that his church in particular hasn't done lots of horrible things, but you don't expect to see him do it personally, right? And yes, she's grabbing on his arm, okay? And if you're the Pope, I imagine you're probably worried about being assassinated every second of every day. But he looked at her. She didn't have a flamethrower in her hand or anything. She was just pulling on his hand. Don't slap on the woman. And so thankfully he did respond. He did respond to this, saying, so many times we lose patience, even me, and I apologize for yesterday's bad example. That's not good enough, but he does go on. He says, all violence inflicted on women is a desecration of God. How often is a woman's body sacrificed on the profane altar of advertising, profit, pornography, he said, adding that the female body must be freed from consumerism. It must be respected and honored. He lost me a little bit with some of the stuff that seems consensual that he just has a problem with. But yes, there is a lot of violence against women. And to put what he did in that context, even if I disagree with a lot of what he said, that is a good sort of apology, that he's not trying to like slap away concerns, that he's acknowledging that this is violence, it was a violent act. He goes on to say, despite creating life, women are continually offended, beaten, raped, forced into prostitution, and made to have abortions. We can understand our level of humanity by the way we treat a woman's body. Again, there's a little bit of stuff in there that we're gonna have some fundamental disagreements about what a woman should be able to consent to doing. But yes, that's a good apology. You got, like, if you're the Pope, we get to have pretty high expectations of your behavior. Don't slap anyone. Like, I know you're afraid that they're gonna have a knife or a gun. I would be terrified of that too if I was 1/10 as influential or powerful as you, but there's a lot of eyes on you, so take it easy, Pope. Meanwhile, in Australia, the fires have continued. We've checked in virtually with every Meanwhile in for the last couple of months, it feels like, and they're really bad still. Over 200 fires. We've got an area the size of Belgium that has already burned, more than 11 people dead, and you've probably seen the headlines of coastal communities, villages having to be, like, boats have come in to get people out of the area because it's so dangerous. But it has also been very dangerous for animals. So we wanted to check in once again with the situation for a number of different animal species. So apparently, we've got an Australian zookeeper who took home monkeys, pandas, and a tiger in order to keep them safe. So that's a big risk, taking a tiger home. But some people who have the ability are trying to get animals out of the way. But those are the animals that are in zoos and are relatively easy to get to. Overall, though, it's been really bad for animals. Ecologists from the University of Sydney now estimate 480 million mammals, birds, and reptiles have been lost just since September. That's a few months. That figure is likely to soar following the devastating fires which have ripped through Victoria and New South Wales south coast over the past couple of days. So that's before some of the most recent fires. Almost 500 million animals of different species. And as we alluded to earlier, koalas have been amongst the hardest hit because they're very slow moving and literally the food they eat is highly flammable. Now, we also have a couple of videos, just we want this to be real for you. So here's a bit of some kangaroos who are fleeing the fires. You can see a gigantic pack, I don't know the real word, but a gigantic pack of kangaroos that are fleeing. The air is filled with smoke. And this is not as hard to watch as some of the koala footage we've shown you from Australia recently, but I'm not a koala expert, but I have been told that they're very hesitant to approach humans in general. That now has apparently changed because they're going up to humans to be saved, to be given water, as you'll see in this video.
So it's genuinely.
Very thirsty boy.
Poor little thing. Oops, sorry.
That thankfully is a koala that has so far survived, but they are apparently in such dire straits that they are running up to humans, including bicyclists, because they believe that they might be saved, that there might be water available for them. Now, we've given you information in the past about a few different charities that you can participate in if you want to help out some of the people who've been devastated by this fire, also the animals that have been devastated. Going forward, it is going to be very interesting to see if the Australian government, which has been hesitant so far to acknowledge any sort of change to their reliance on coal, the harvesting of certain types of trees, there's going to be a lot of pressure on them after this once people have gotten past the worst of the emergency and can take stock of what's left. Thank you for watching this clip from the Damage Report. For more content from the show and access to TYT Network members-only exclusives, go to tyt.com/Brooke. Wait, no, it's tyt.com/John. Go to tyt.com/John to sign up.